He gave Atiku a lot of powers in his first term. So Atiku used those powers, the privatization and other things that were headed by Atiku. Atiku used that to gain more power and influence. Atiku was a more strategic politician. Remember, Obasanjo was in government as a military head of state, but he wasn't really a politician. And remember, he was in prison before he was released in 1998. So Atiku has been trying to be president since 1992. So Atiku knew the politics. He has been playing the politics. And so in that 1999 to 2003, Atiku used the influence, the power he was given in order to gather support. And got PDP governors, got people to support him, that he wanted Obasanjo to be only one-term president. He wanted Obasanjo to end his presidency in 2003, one term, then he can now contest for president. And Obasanjo had to beg. It was said that Obasanjo went on his knees, pleaded, they begged and begged before Atiku and other of his backers now backed down and allowed Obasanjo to run for re-election in 2003, which Obasanjo won. But after Obasanjo won, Obasanjo said, wow, so this is my deputy, this is my vice president, is this powerful? Wow. So Obasanjo decided to cut his wings. Obasanjo wanted to cut his wings. And to complicate things, Obasanjo was now trying to go for a third term. He won in 2003. He was to run to rule for another 4 years, which will end in 2007. But around that 2005, 2006, Obasanjo made a play for third term. And there was this third term agenda in the National Assembly, which Atiku now fought vehemently against. Atiku fought against that third term agenda by Obasanjo, and that third term agenda failed. But then Obasanjo was out for Atiku, and Obasanjo ensured that Atiku would not be the candidate for the PDP.
So, when Atiku saw that he could not get the ticket for PDP, he left PDP for AC, Action Congress, Bola Tinubu's Action Congress. And then Obasanjo took the opportunity to declare the vice presidency seat vacant, in effectively removing Atiku. But Atiku went to court, and the court said that Obasanjo doesn't have the powers to do that.
Atiku, the platform of AC, is a way of fighting Obasanjo. And so Atiku contested for president under Action Congress, AC, for that 2007 election. Before the 2007 elections, there were charges there was a panel set up to investigate Atiku. The panel came out with a report, and they said they indicted Atiku of corruption. And so the electoral body then now disqualified Atiku from contesting for the election. And Atiku went to court, up to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court said no, that Atiku have to, the few days, like 5 days before the election, Supreme Court said Atiku should be on the ballot. That's how Atiku was on the ballot under AC, but it's in a weakened position. And then Obasanjo has already picked Yar'Adua as the candidate of PDP, with Jonathan as a running mate. And that is how Obasanjo, using power of the presidency and all that, they ensured that Yar'Adua won the election in 2007 in a deeply flawed election, which Yar'Adua himself acknowledged. And so we see Atiku contested in 1992, he stepped down in the primaries. 2003, as vice president, he wanted to contest. They pleaded with him, he calmed down. 2007, he contested under AC and lost to Yar'Adua. He went to court, he didn't succeed. Yar'Adua won in 2007, supposed to stay for 8 years, to stay 4 years to 2011, then another 4 years. Unfortunately, Yar'Adua fell sick and he died 2010. That's how Jonathan became acting president and sworn in as president when Yar'Adua died. And so people felt that since it was the turn of the North under Yar'Adua, that Jonathan should just do the remaining term till 2011 and allow a Northerner. So Atiku saw opportunity. He left the AC, the Action Congress, went back to PDP and now formed a group. The North now came together to do a consensus candidate under the PDP, led by Adamu Shiruma. And then they presented Atiku in 2011 as the consensus candidate of the North to contest against Goodluck Jonathan in the PDP primaries in Abuja. And then the President Goodluck Jonathan was able to, and those supporting were able to use a lot of their influence, and that's how Atiku lost in PDP primaries in 2011. And Jonathan now won and the election in 2011. He continued his presidency. Then when Atiku saw that, PDP was not favoring me again, because I went to PDP thinking I will be able to defeat Jonathan in the primaries. So Jonathan won. So he now left PDP. When the APC was forming before 2015, 2013, 2014, when they formed, he went to APC. He saw the opportunity in APC. He went there and contested in the primaries against Buhari. But the powers then in the APC, including Bola Tinubu, they wanted Buhari to be the candidate. And the primaries that was held in Lagos, Tinubu and his people ensured that Buhari emerged. Even though Atiku tried by all means, it was the influence of Tinubu, influence of Amechi and others, that Buhari was able to emerge from the primaries as the candidate of APC in 2015. And Buhari went on to win the election. So when Atiku now saw, this new PDP, this thing, it didn't favor me. Okay, let me go back to my former place. And that's why before the 2019 elections, Atiku went back to PDP. He was now candidate he now contested in the primaries in 2019 for the 2019 general elections. And then since Buhari was the president from 2015 to that 2019, and it was the turn of the North, people felt that, the PDP should feed a candidate from the North. And so candidates from the South just stepped aside. They didn't pick their form. They are now allowed only candidates from the North. Atiku picked the form. Tambuwa picked the form. Saraki picked the form. And they did the primaries in 2019 in Port Harcourt. That was the primaries that Dakti Babame was talking about. 2019 primaries, before the 2019 election, the primaries in Port Harcourt, dollars were flying, everything. Atiku defeated Tambuwa and others. Even though Wike was supporting Tambuwa and it was holding in Port Harcourt, and Wike used his influence and everything, but Atiku used superior influence, superior dollars, and that's how Atiku emerged in 2019 as the candidate of PDP. He contested against Buhari. Buhari defeated Atiku, and Buhari won re-election. So when Buhari was to leave again in 2023, now this time around, a Northerner, Buhari has ruled for 8 years. So it was now time for power to return back to the South. And so PDP that allowed Northern candidates to contest in 2019 primaries, in 2023, prior to 2023, they're supposed to zone it to the South. Even though Buhari was not of the PDP, but he is a Northerner who has ruled for 8 years. And so the the opposition party, PDP, should have picked candidates from the south. It should have been zoned to the south, and it would have been zoned to the south if not that Atiku was interested in contesting. In 2019, when zoning would favor him, he supported it. He supported zoning in 2019 because it would favor him. In 2023, when he saw that zoning would not favor him, he did not support it. And he now influenced it. They now made the primary process open. So when people like Peter Obi saw the handwriting on the wall, he left.